Week 10 is over, and it's that time of the week. It's time for our recap. Let's hop right into it.
All right, and when you come to look at our Week 10 winners that we predicted, we actually did pretty good. Sorry, I had to move my mic a little closer. We predicted 9 out of the 14 games right, which is 64%. And if you really look down at it, the Broncos, they could have easily won their game. The Giants was just the average Danny Dimes experience. And then I will say, when we were talking in our prediction video, we did say both of these games could be toss-ups. So if you really look at it, we only got like maybe one wrong because it just didn't work out. Like the script, they knew we predicted the way we did. Then all of these were pretty decisive, actually. Other than the Steelers game, they were pretty, and I guess the Lions game too.
I just want to say, I was the one that said the Steelers win.
He did. He did say that, and they did win.
People doubted us.
They did. They ain't believing us. God did. And then you move on to our best performances of the week, and I loaded this one up this week. Usually we only do like 4 or 5 teams, but we got like 8 this week. I'll do 4. Mason, look at the last. Actually, no, Mason, you start with the first 4. Talk about how they overperformed.
The Steelers played incredibly against the Commanders. I predicted that they'd win and that they'd upset the Commanders, and that's what they did. Can't really say much else. Russell Wilson played great.
Mr.
The Bengals obviously played incredibly well. They probably should have won, to be honest, but they didn't. Luck wasn't on their side, and the refs had their blind, their blind glasses on. And then the Broncos played really well against the Chiefs, especially on defense. Offensively, they were sort of a mess, but and then the Ravens obviously played incredibly against the Bengals and won 35-34. So
yeah, the whole Ravens and Bengals game was amazing, and both of them were both iterations of it this season. It's just MVP versus MVP. Well, Joe Burrow should win MVP, but his record doesn't back that up. If you look at the other 4 games, the Cardinals, they had themselves a great game is an understatement. They embarrassed the Jets. What is like 34-6?
All you need to know is that the Jets are not good.
Okay. The Jets have a future Hall of Famer at quarterback. A phenomenal young wide receiver. A phenomenal old wide receiver. 2 amazing running backs who are both young. One of the best defenses on paper in the league, and they lose 34-6 to the Arizona Cardinals.
Bad, bro.
I was not feeling nicey watching that game, as John Gruden would say.
Yeah, what a waste of the roster.
Everything, yeah.
Kind of like the Chicago Bears, which we'll get to in a minute. But.
Yeah. And then we got the Saints. They came out and won. They were looking, 7-game loss streak. They looked horrible. New coaching change zone. They came out and actually they played really good against the Falcons. So you can't say much else there. Eagles. I feel like that was another embarrassment. They kind of just the Cowboys are so bad.
Yeah, you can't even really
It's just every game.
Even you couldn't expect it because
they had a backup QB too, who Cooper Rush was horrible, was awful. But and the Eagles came out.
Whoever you have at quarterback, you're losing against the Eagles if you're the Cowboys. This year,
that's true. And then obviously the Panthers. Did they play amazing? Not really. But this is their 5th win in 2 years. So we got to put it on here. Then I'll
give credit where credit is due.
Bryce Young looks happy, and I love to see that. Like, as a football fan, seeing him put in the situation he's in, smiling, you can't be mad at that. Then I'll let Mason cover the bad performances because I know he has some thoughts and feelings about some of these teams.
All right, so the Detroit Lions, obviously in the NFC North, they won, believe it or not, but their offense played like dookie farts because Jared Goff decided to go out and gift 5 awful picks to the defense. And, he looked the worst he had all year, but somehow the Detroit Lions still win.
They bit their kneecaps, threw him back down, pulled him down with them.
You know who doesn't win? The Chicago Bears.
Oh, yeah.
All right, they play one of the worst teams in the league, in the New England Patriots, and throw it away because they can't play offense, and honestly, coaching is just incompetent. I will be Brody does posting here. I will be making a video on the Bears tomorrow. If you want to go watch it, I promise it'll be worth your while. I'll be very, very heated. So we'll get into that. And then the Colts, dude. The Colts just, man, Joe Flacco is nowhere near where he was a year ago. And, maybe he should go back to sitting on the couch at home.
Yeah, he's getting his bag, though, so you can't hate on that.
And then the Cowboys, obviously, they just spend that all year.
Yeah.
And the Jets, we already covered.
Yeah, it's a rough year for some of these teams for sure. But then our current contenders, new additions to this list: the Commanders, the Steelers, the Cardinals, and the Bengals. All four showing up on this list for the first time. We did lose the 49ers. We lost the 49ers, Buccaneers. They're both off the list now. Does that mean they can't win? Obviously not. It's just they're not necessarily the best situation right now to do so. The Cardinals lead their division. That's why they're over the 49ers on here. But we decided we're going to slightly move the Chiefs out of the bubble because, I mean, when you
winning bogus one-score games.
Yeah, they haven't had a win that I'm like, wow, okay, they won that game.
Yeah.
They had a bunch. Yeah, like the Lions, where they're just outscoring people by like 20 points. They have had none of those. So they're playing the Bills this week, so it'll be interesting to see that. And yeah, I mean, Commanders, Steelers. Steelers are a threat, honestly, especially with Russ with either of them at quarterback. It's insane.
Yeah.
But then yeah, that's that. And then we have our power rankings. Nothing crazy. I moved the Ravens up to number 1.
I would have still had Detroit at number 1.
It's honestly the top 3 could literally be any one of them. They're all dominant. And then we moved the Steelers up a bunch. Chiefs moved down a bunch. Packers moved down. They didn't play this week. But still, I mean, a bunch of teams moved up, so you got to go with that. Big one that fell was the Giants. We had them at 24. They're at 32 now. When you lose to the Panthers, you lost to the Panthers. Like,
your quarterback is not competent. Like, you can't
no,
tell me.
It's so sad.
Yeah.
And speaking of quarterbacks that aren't very competent, we had Tua Tagovailoa try to tackle leading with his head yesterday on a interception he threw.
No way.
He did, yeah. He dropped with his head into he missed, but he dropped head first like an absolute idiot. So, but Dolphins move up a little bit. Same with the Saints. Saints moved up a lot, but that's because every team below them is kind of awful. But then, yeah, that's our power rankings. Playoff picture hasn't really changed at all from last week, I don't think.
Just Eagles went up.
Yeah, Eagles moved up to number 2 over the Commanders, who moved down to number 6. Other than that, it literally nothing changed. But yeah, that's playoffs right now. This was my little fantasy predictions last week. To say I cooked up would be an understatement. 143 in PPR is pretty damn good. That'll win you a week. Burrow was an amazing pick. 33 points. Quarterback 1 on the week, I believe. Bijan Robinson cooked. DeAndre Swift did nothing, but who on the Bears offense really did. Zay Flowers, again, did nothing. Maybe you should have started the other wide receiver in that game, known as Jamar Chase, who put up 55 because he just kept getting the ball. But yeah, so pretty good fantasy predictions this week. Look out for those next week. And then our division leaders. Yeah, I mean, a lot of high win teams here, low losses. And then there's a couple there's 3 6-4 teams, but then 3 teams with 8 wins or higher. So it's interesting. And then obviously too, the Ravens are tied with the Steelers the Ravens are 7-3, Steelers are 7-2. So this game this week will be very big to determine tiebreaker and see who leads their division.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, honestly, I think the Ravens are better.
Yeah.
I feel like I know the Ravens are better, but
it's just it's the issue of the Steelers having such a good defense that could really be but even then, it's like Lamar Jackson is playing too good this year for that a defense to be
really
an issue.
Yeah,
it's I mean, he's an MVP, and I looked at his stats from his MVP season last year, and he's playing way better. I think he has the same amount of touchdowns last season right now.
I think he's got.
Is 24 touchdowns he has right now on 2 interceptions, I believe.
23. I think he had 23
Yeah.
touchdowns.
So he's I think if anyone deserves MVP, it's either him, Jared Goff, or Derrick Henry even.
Jared Goff might have just thrown himself out.
Yeah, 5 interceptions in a game is diabolical. They're still leading their division. Yeah, but that's our division leaders. Not finally, but nearing the end here, we're gonna do a little wheel spin to see whose career we'll be making a video on this week. All right, and when we're spinning for the player or the team that we're gonna choose a player from, it's any team in the league, and then we added the college legends, which will be interesting to see. Oh my lord! As a Seattle Seahawks fan, I love to see it.
Yeah, doing it.
And this is obvious. I mean, we can't control what this picks, so it looks bad, but who knows? All right, so we cooked up a list consisting of a bunch of Seahawks players, mainly known for their time on the Seahawks. Other teams we've done people who were known, like for example, we did Devontae Adams from the Raiders, and he was obviously not known for his time on the Raiders. But this time, a lot of Seahawk legends here. So let's see who we get to make a video on this upcoming week. Oh. And you get to see a video on none other than Richard Sherman. Call me crazy, but you could argue he's one of the best corners of all time.
You're crazy.
Well, I guess we'll have to see on Saturday. So yeah, look out for that video. All right, and we're going to be making a video on Richard Sherman, one of my favorite players of all time from the Seahawks. And yeah, it should be fun to do. And then finally, to wrap it up with our awards. Best team of the week, I gave it to the Cardinals. Mason didn't agree with this one. He actually didn't even know that's what I put until just now. But
yeah, I was about to throw hands. Any team that loses to the Panthers should be the worst team of the week. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but scoring 3 points on the Patriots?
I mean,
at least Daniel Jones brought it to overtime instead of 3 points on the Patriots.
I guess they allowed 20 points to the Panthers. So.
Yeah. Either way, best team of the league goes to the Cardinals. I mean, you don't blow out the Jets the way they did. I feel like it was a really early blowout too.
Yeah, it was quick.
Yeah, and then usually, fantasy player of the week and the player of the week are 2 different people. But you can't even argue that this week.
Yeah, I don't even think that you could. I was telling Brody.
Yeah.
But we already have his fantasy player. I was like, who else could you argue?
Yeah.
Really?
What? 264 yards, 2 touchdowns, or 3?
3.
3 touchdowns, 264 yards, like 11 receptions, I think. It's insane numbers, and unfortunately, they didn't win. But he contributed a lot to that loss because. There was 2 first play touchdowns from him from like 60 yards, right? Yeah, he just sits there, open. He wasn't lying when he said he's always open. Anyways, we rate Brett. What?
34 points. You score 34 points, you should win.
Yeah, I agree. It doesn't happen a loss that often.
He had a whole QB's day worth of yards.
Yeah.
Himself.
And he didn't throw 5 interceptions.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you watched, like, comment, subscribe. I'll love you till the day you die if you do. Mason, you want to add anything?
Just want to... What Brody said for the algorithm.
For the algorithm.
I don't know what I just said. It sounded very not good, but...
Well, let's hope it didn't sound that bad. But yeah. Later.
I'll see you later.